Good afternoon, everybody. So today I want to talk about meds and weight management. Again, today I want to talk about meds and weight management. And so many of you who are listening, you already know I might be talking to you, or you may be feeling like, Jesus Christ, this is so me. Again, today I want to talk about meds and weight management. And so if that's you, please make sure that you are listening and taking notes. And I am going to save this one. And the way I want to talk about this meds and weight management first is I want to share a little bit of a case study. So oftentimes I get the questions about anybody who is either maybe not successful on my 15-week program, or somebody who it may take a little bit longer than we think. And oftentimes when something takes longer than we think, it's because medications are involved. And it's so important that when we have medications involved, that we all have a very realistic idea of about time frame. But more importantly, we have a realistic idea of let's all get aligned, physician, client, myself, so that we understand what we're trying to accomplish, that weight is the issue, and we're trying to pull it down. And so we have to have a good dialogue about how much medication someone is on. Is somebody willing to reduce it? Are we willing to say, hey, we can come down just a smidge on a cholesterol medicine? Can we come down just a smidge on a high blood pressure medication so that we can see that weight move? So I want to share with y'all a little bit of a case study. I have a client who's been with me for a year. And in that year, I saw her at the start be on multiple meds, cholesterol, high blood pressure, and a depression medication. But we also then have to contend with if there is any crisis in her life, stressful events, because those are the things that can impact someone's results. So when there was no stress, we were seeing the weight move. But all of a sudden, her doctor decided that they wanted to up the medication. That immediately halted the weight loss immediately. And so it took us a little bit of time to find our new rhythm with how much we're going to eat. What does the exercise routine now need to look like? But then all of a sudden she had a crisis. She had someone very close to her pass away. Then all of a sudden, she just wasn't feeling so great anymore. So then it was, let's manage how we feel, but we still working with the doctor on how to manage the medication. And so much of that is aligning yourself as the client, right? Or the patient to the physician as someone who is advocating for yourself. You must be a patient advocate and say, hey, here's something that I'm noticing in myself. The medications are causing a lot of weight gain. And if I have any room, can you please get me to the lowest dose, right? And we're talking about medications like maybe certain types of diabetic medications, high blood pressure meds, maybe even depression, anxiety, and high cholesterol. If there's any wiggle room, right, either come off of something or lower all of them to the most baseline dose so we have the biggest opportunity to start to move the weight. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? So if you have a question, go ahead and write it to me as well. But I'm sharing this case study because guess what? We've now, a year in, we've managed to work with the physicians, because she has multiple physicians. These are 4 different doctors, right? And those doctors don't talk. They don't work in the same practice. So what we've got is 4 doctors who are all trying to manage their portion. But they're not looking at, hey, we've got all these other things going on, and I'm just seeing her weight start to bump up, and she's frustrated, because that's the other part of weight gain is the stress and the frustration of seeing the weight gain, which makes it what, y'all? Worse. So doctors finally agreed. So we were able to get off a cholesterol med, lower the blood pressure meds down to the most baseline dose, and then put the depression medication to the most baseline dose. And y'all, what's happening? In the last 6 weeks, we've been able to get 11 pounds, almost 12 off of her body in 6 weeks. Y'all heard me say in 6 weeks, because we have physician alignment with what she's doing and what I am doing with her. And so it's so important that you all know that there can be factors, but we have to work through it. You have to be open to doing it a little bit different. And you have to understand that it takes time to get in a good rhythm of medication, activity, i.e. exercise, plus the level of eating. And there comes a point when there is no more, we're going to eat different and we're going to exercise more. There's no more, right? And this is where we were with this particular client, where I was with her. I don't want her to eat any less. I don't want to change anything about her food, but I also don't want her trying to now exercise more. She had a good routine, good strength training routine, good cardio routine, the right amount of food. Our missing puzzle, or I'm going to say our puzzle pieces that didn't fit, were the amount of medication. And so we were able to manage that with the physicians, and now like clockwork, pound, 2 pounds, 1.5 pounds. Every single week we're dropping down because we've got a good mix. And so that may be a lot of, maybe some of you who are listening, that may be some of your issues, is we got medication in the way and you're just not sure what to do. Or maybe a family member, maybe your spouse, or even one, maybe for some of you, maybe your child. Maybe an adult child. And so I want you all to think about and share this with somebody. I will be saving this one on the impact that medication has on weight management, and how we must be aligned with a doctor, with your doctor, myself, right? Or someone who's helping you, and the person who is the patient or the client, because we have to come up with the best plan so that we eventually are working to get off meds. But in the meantime, we have to work with them and through them in order to get the right mix so that your health is in line, your food and your food health is in line, and then your activity, your stress management, your sleep, all those other things are in line, so that then you can be at a point where we're seeing your body do what we want it to do. Okay, so it's very important. Again, for those of you who have joined, today is all about meds and weight management. I know that there are so many of you out there who have diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, anxiety, maybe thyroid medication. And so we're taking all of these different things and we're trying to figure out why you can't manage your weight, or why you're with your trainer or maybe another nutrition individual and you're not seeing your weight move. And I want you to understand it takes time and you do have to work through it. And I just shared a little bit of my own case study about a client who I've had for a year, and I've seen her go through the changes. And I'm going to just kind of recap it a little bit. The first few months, you all, this was somebody who was severely depressed, who the first few months, all we could work on is getting a consistent eating routine. That's it. Just to eat consistently, breakfast, lunch, dinner, because she wasn't eating at all. And her weight was skyrocketing, swelling, water retention, because she wasn't eating. Then we had to get on a consistent exercise routine. And when we got all that managed, so her doctors, again, 4 different doctors, wanted to all try to switch the medications at once. Disaster. Too many meds, too many changes at once. The weight was going back up. She was swelling. Her depression medication wasn't working. It was causing her to not feel great. Then she had a death in the family, right? And so then we saw it not working right. But now, over the last 6 weeks, everybody, 6 weeks, we bargained. And I'm going to say that's what we did. We bargained, right? I'm telling her how to talk through it, how to be her own advocate with all 4 of her physicians. No cholesterol meds. We got to come off it. Both blood pressure meds, the lowest dose that we can possibly have. The depression medication, the lowest dose that she could take. And I'm going to tell y'all, it's still a dose that we probably need a little more, but we have to work through it because we need some chemicals off of her body. All right. And so because of it, in the last 6 weeks, with like clockwork, same food, which we had worked on for 9 months prior, same food, same exercise routine. Now we're seeing 11 pounds drop in 6 weeks, like clockwork, because we've been able to manage the medications. So for anybody listening, I want you to, again, think about, I might be talking to you. It may be somebody in your family. It may be your adult child. It may be your spouse. We have to have realistic expectations about weight management and medication, but you have to know, number one, that medication can be in our way. Number 2, you have to understand it is possible, but you have to be an advocate. You have to consult and share what you're doing with your physician. They have to know the lifestyle changes that you're making so that they can give us a little bit of wiggle room to come down on some of the meds long enough to help move your weight. You feel better. the meds actually start to not be necessary because we're getting some of that weight down. You're feeling better. You're moving better. Less swelling, less water retention. And now we're getting better. Heart is performing better, right? We're fixing some of that heart muscle. You're able to process sugars a little bit better. You're dropping some body fat. All these things are happening. And so pretty soon, one of those meds is going to go away completely, right? And then you'll be down to maybe one blood pressure medication, one depression or anxiety medication. And then guess what happens? Another 10 pounds after that, total of 21, 22 pounds down. Then you're going to be no meds except for the one, which is potentially an anxiety or depression medication. For most people, that will always be a medication that you are on, unless it is very situation related. And I think any of you who are taking meds, you all understand what I mean. If it is something very situational, you probably will find your way out of it with therapy. But if you have a chemical imbalance, many of you may always have to take it. But at least we're down from 5 and 6 meds to 1, and our weight is back in line. So that's how we do it. And I wanted to share y'all that story because people ask me every day, how do you get a chance to work with clients? Where do you find like it may be a little bit more challenging? That's when it may be more challenging, but that is my specialty. I do work with individuals who are on medication. I typically work with high level professionals. I am a high ticket coach. I work with professionals who may have let their health kind of subside, or they may be starting to see health concerns. So majority of my clients do have something, whether they have one, high blood pressure, maybe somebody has high cholesterol, maybe one has diabetes, by itself, or somebody has pre-diabetes, or sometimes people have all, y'all. Sometimes people have all of those things when they're coming to me. And so that is what I am able to do, and to help them get to a point that we get to real lifestyle changes, real food routines, real exercise routines, so that we can get off of the meds and then continue living a better life and add more moments. So any questions before I save this live? And if I'm missing them, y'all, I'm trying to press it. I don't see any just yet. But if you have any questions, please go ahead and let me know. And again, for those of you who just joined, today is all about the impact of medication and weight management. So again, any questions, I'll go ahead and answer it here. But if you know of anybody who needs to see this live, I am about to save it. Again, meds, weight management. I will probably do this one again because I do have a lot of people who reach out who are on medications and they've just been struggling. And it's nothing like feeling that struggle and thinking there's no hope, right? But I want you to know that there is. You just have to have very realistic expectations about lifestyle changes. You have to be somebody who's okay speaking to your doctor. And I will never tell you, don't go to the doctor. Yes, you do. You need to go there, but you need to be an advocate. You need to be speaking up for yourself and saying, hey, this is too much. Like, I need some support here. Here's how I'm making changes. I'm exercising differently. I'm eating differently with the help of a coach. But I need your help too, so that we can just get a little bit of wiggle room to help you move it the rest of the way and see those changes, see the weight come off your body, get a chance to see you get even healthier so that we can eventually get off all of the medications. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Again, I am saving this one. Please share it with anybody who you know needs it. And I will redo this one again, because I do have a lot more people who reach out who are on meds. And this one is a pretty sticky subject, but it can be one that is the most frustrating. So I will see you guys on Wednesday live at 8 a.m. Bye.